We're over here tapping in with KWJT, Puget Sound from space. I'm over here with Corey. You're tapping in with Tavares and sliding with Solana. Man, you already know what's going on, KWJT. We're going crazy, brazy, AZ all year long. So you know the vibes. It's another pod day, and we're getting real groovy. We like to start the show off with a whole lot of love. Shout out our groovers out there for tapping in with 2022 Groovy Tapes episodes.
Come on.
And Tranquil Forest, we truly appreciate you guys for pulling up for us day in, day out. So thank you. Without a further ado-ski, I would like to introduce this week's guest. We got DJ Kween Kaysh up in the motherfucking building.
What's up?
Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. A lot of working, but yeah, I think, life is really, there's a lot of alignment happening. So all good stuff. Yeah.
That's really good. You were DJing last night. Where were you spending last night?
Yeah, I was at Zodiac Supper Club in Tacoma.
Fire.
Yeah, I was DJing with QJ. Which
Shout out to Gang.
Shout out to Quincy. I love him so much. He's literally top tier. And yeah, we kind of started. I've known him literally since I started DJing. So
Swag.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fire.
Cool.
I've never been to, because they're so late, because they start at like 10
late.
And they go to 2:30, and like it's really like real sets out there. So anytime I'm out in Tacoma, I always get too drunk. So I know the environment.
Literally, I was like, okay, I haven't been to Tacoma in a minute, and I forgot this is how they get down for real.
Yeah,
like,
the drive back is
that drive back is treacherous.
So crazy. You're just like, all right, like it makes sense. Like they're cheaper, but like I didn't know I was drinking like that. Like
yeah.
So last time I was there, I was making a steak, like really drunk as shit, and it's always a fun time in the T.
Yeah.
So I always want to start where we started in the beginning of like creativity. What got you into music? Were you always like a musically inclined person, or did it just like slowly develop through your life?
Yeah, man. I knew like when I would get interviews and stuff, and I'd be like, okay, I really gotta start telling this story now, But yeah, like literally from the womb, I grew up in church, so that's kind of the basis of my foundation. My dad was in choirs, and my mom is a singer. My dad's a singer. My sister's a singer. My brother's a singer. So it's just like, it's in the blood, So it's just a lot of influence there with gospel. And then kind of to layer it on, my grandfather was heavily into like disco and, very into like that 70s era.
Yeah.
So I'm very heavily influenced by 70s. And then my mom is a very 80s head. So like the 80s and 90s. So I kind of got exposed to a little bit of everything. And yeah, so it's always been there. Yeah.
Does it help when you're like thinking of music to play at certain like venues, just having that like 3 decades of just like what you were raised on, and then having your own experiences in music? Like, does it help when you're like, all right, I can prepare for like a supper club and just be like, I know how to go like as far back as to the 70s, or play you some hidden 90s joints? Is like, does that experience just like help throughout those days?
Yeah, like I feel like my sets are very different, right? I never plan them. It's kind of just whatever the vibe is. I walk into a space and I'm like, I always have social anxiety. That's always a thing, right? But then like I'm very observant. I'm an introvert, so like, I think as a DJ, people think I'm super extrovert, and I'm absolutely not. Like, like to the minimalist like degree. Like I am just very to myself, and I've kind of always operated that way. But oh my God, what was your question again?
Did just knowing like being raised on 3 decades of music.
Oh yeah. So that heavily influences my sets. I literally am a music head. I listen to music every day, but like consistently in so many different genres of music, Brazilian jazz, and like there's layers to it, and I incorporate all of that because it's just a feeling,
Yeah.
for me, it's a feeling. It's like, okay, does it feel right? If I'm listening to the other song in my headphones or whatever, like the song I'm going to transition into, it just has to have that like right feel, that right that right intro, you know? But yeah, that's just how I operate with all of my sets. But it's literally, I don't know, like I get a lot of compliments for my sets, and sometimes I'm like, I'm just doing it, Sometimes I don't even really think about it. Like I'm not thinking about each and every song that I'm playing, but like, sometimes I'm like, okay, other people are actually like absorbing, this experience that I'm curating. So, that's probably the dopest part.
That's fire.
Yeah. Let that motherfucker ring. No, because that makes me really excited as being another music nerd to experience your sets in real time and hear that from you. That it's really effervescent and flowing of your nature and just. I understand how that feels when you're listening to music and you just hear what you hear, and for you to share that with others in that way, in your DJing, that shit is fire. Like, what the hell? That's going. I don't think I've heard you mention that, at least in our conversations. So that's really cool to know, because like day in, day out, I was over there rocking.
Yeah.
And just this past event, I Love Supreme. It was really fun to hear you spin. So
yeah, thank you.
You played a song from my childhood.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, Murder She Wrote.
Yeah.
So like I'm drunk, taking pictures, and then I'm just like, I hear it spinning, and I'm just like, fuck, this reminds me of my childhood. I was like, I don't even know the name of the song. Like, that's how I know every word. I was telling Germs, I was like, I know every word, but I can't tell you the title or anything. It's just so ingrained.
The artist, you just kind of like resonate with that, and I totally like understand that to the core, because like, I grew up, I was in elementary school listening to 98.9 smooth jazz, KWJZ. Like, that was my shit, I really was exposed a lot. I actually couldn't sleep without music for a really long time of my childhood. I was listening to classical. That would be like a few stations away. And I'd like transition to the classical and kind of like be immersed in that, like theater, and kind of, I just feel like there's like this really deep, rooted.
Too.
Yeah, it's like this like really core element of like good music that kind of like allows me to kind of play and transition in the way that I do. So yeah,
that's amazing. I wanted to know whether I had a really good trip. Damn, I haven't done that in so long. I had a great
it's
trip.
Literally good.
It's okay, brother. I wanted to ask you about how it's been elevating other artists in your playlisting on Spotify. I think that's really exciting that, you use your voice to uplift others. And it's very important that other Black creators are getting that notice, or, just that general push out here in the town.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, what inspired you to do that?
Honestly, like I said, alignment has been so key for me. I've been so tapped into myself, but like spiritually been tapped in, really, that's really provided me to like remove certain blockages for me to accelerate at a different pace. The Spotify thing really stumbled upon me. I was recommended by someone in the city that I don't even really kind of like talk to, I know who he is. He knows who I am, I guess. But I didn't know that, I would be kind of like recommended for that opportunity. Yeah. I was really nervous about it, because I was like, how am I going to represent all of these different cities and spaces and sounds and curate them and blend them in a way that is cohesive? Yeah. So that whole Spotify thing, me working for Spotify and kind of like the, shout out to Ripple Effect and Frequency, like that it's gonna go up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the platform itself is really curated to highlight all Black artists from everywhere, all different sounds, go-go music, and you know, whether that's Black country or, you know, just like having these specific playlists that are curated and highlighting these artists that probably really wouldn't get a lot of recognition. So it really takes like people on like myself to really deep dive into their music to find it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that I'm aware of each and every artist in Seattle, but I trust that I will find them.
Yeah.
I'm always searching for them. That's just how I've always operated. When I was younger, like even in college, I was like, I'm going to be an A&R. You know, I still feel like that's going to happen for myself, you know, where I'm, you know, have my own record label. I work for a record label or a platform, and I'm searching for those artists, you know.
Just deep diving into what's going on.
Because it's like, there's some good music out there.
Yes, there is.
It's unfortunate that it's not heard, but at the point that I was like, okay, I got to do this the right way, I did. I was, you know, each and every artist that I put on the playlist, I've listened to all of their projects. Every song, and I put it into one set playlist, and, you know, I'll just kind of like curate from there. But like, I will go through the music, you know, and make sure that, you know, and I know what I like and I know what I don't like, and that's cool. Like, I'm not gonna like every single song.
No, as you should.
There's
have
some bangers out there. You
should have a taste level. Like to really curate, you have to have a certain taste level to be able to provide to others. Like, you can't be susceptible. You can't play into any sort of like fad or anything that you don't feel or sway you. So it's good that you're as well as you were searching, you're open to like something that will sway you and move you, and know that'll move other people, so you can still provide that feeling of like something new, but like something that feels like home, something that'll still provide that like, I love this. Like, who is this? Like, I'm looking for everything now. Like, I heard you in the context of other people I'm fans of, but now I can listen to you because you blend so smoothly into whatever I'm doing already. Do you think having to be in that like space and be able to like plug people gives you a certain level to bubble the underground in a new way? Because like there used to be like pirate radios, but now playlists are the way for undiscovered talent to be like placed and things like that. And it started with the Seattle PNW radio, where they were just tapping in. Now you have the other one on Spotify. Yeah. So do you feel like not that you're responsible to, but you now have access to help funnel that bubbling next thing to like that larger platform?
Man, very much so. 'Cause I love it. I love the grittiness. I love the rawness of like putting out that first project, that first whatever EP, whatever you call it. But yeah, I'm always searching for that. I've always been a music digger. I was, you know, I didn't realize I was actually DJing and curating things when I was like little. You know, I'd pick stuff up, and, you know, I was really into, you know, ripping stuff off of freaking LimeWire and like whole albums, you know what I'm saying? Like, my mom would be like, please stop downloading stuff on here, because like CenturyLink is literally charging us for every time, you know, because they could see it, the copyright or whatever. So like, you know, but that was something I was passionate about. And I, you know, now that, you know, I feel like I was kind of really overlooking myself in my journey that I've been kind of curating for myself for such a long time. Yeah. Even like my interest in music and all of those elements kind of like brought me to now, you know, because like sometimes you look back and you're like, how did I get here? You know, like I started DJing, but that wasn't supposed to really be anything. I'm not even gonna lie. Like how'd
you fully get, like, what turned it from like I love music, I breathe music to like now I need to curate for others and how like they're dancing and their vibe. Like, how did that?
Yeah, so I started my journey actually like I was in college. I was living in kind of like Pullman or whatever. So I've always been in the boonies. But so like I lived in Pullman. I was there for 5 years. I reached out to Casey Carter. Shout out to Casey. Come on. You know, I was working for the Blow Up. I was doing like I was like the marketing manager or whatever. Yeah. That was my intro, because I didn't grow up in Seattle. I didn't really grow up heavily in Tacoma. I was always kind of in between.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up in a little bit of Tacoma, a little bit of Auburn, lived in Puyallup for a little bit. Then I lived majority of my life, you know, my high school and like, you know, later grade school years in Federal Way.
Yeah.
You know, so like I knew all kind of like the artists that were doing stuff really only in those spaces, but very minimal, you know. And so like when I started working for the Blow Up, I really learned from Casey how to curate things and how to really put artists on in a way that's going to elevate them. You know, not with any ill intent or I'm trying to get something out of you or I feel like you're the next star, so let me put you on a stage for my benefit. Like it really was some genuine shit, you know. And so yeah, that was like my great intro into that. 2016, my grandma passed away, like the end of the year. I moved back home from school, was taking care of my grandpa. And honestly, I was hella depressed. My ex at the time had bought me a DJ controller. You know, he invested in me, felt, you know, very confident in me. So he invested in me, got me the controller. And I was like, okay, I got to do something with this shit now, you know? So like, I told Casey, I was just like, literally, I just be at home. I have the videos like where I'm just at home, like recording myself, like transitioning, you know, downloading music, just kind of like documenting myself in a way, I guess.
Figuring it out.
Yeah, figuring it out. You know, I had told Casey, I was like, yeah, I DJ. She was like, girl, what? And then she gave me my first gig, you know what I'm saying? And honestly, from there, like it kind of took off. That whole first year of me DJing, I was like doing festivals and back, you know, like my flyers were everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I was literally doing any and everything. I was very, very hungry, exhausting myself at the same time because I had a 9-to-5. But, you know, I was just like, cool, 3 gigs in a day, let's go, you know, but
what was that?
It's not sustainable.
No, not when you're going after it, it seems like it, but like eventually you do have to take a second to be like, I got to take care of me so I can elevate this. It's like, it's good to fire off and it's great to be in those spaces, but I got to achieve higher to like continue to grow out of the spaces that I'm invited to.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask before we just leave the starting point, what was that first gig like? Going from like practicing and recording yourself to being like, now I have like someone paid me and hired me. Now this has to go like, well.
I forgot who else was DJing with me. I'm not even going to say it was Gab, but I feel like I'm tripping. Maybe not, but she was performing or something.
Yeah.
I think it was at Vermilion. Like that, it was
Shout
like,
out Vermilion.
Yeah, shout out to Vermilion. Yeah. So like really spent a lot of like my first times there. I think I had spent so much time practicing at home that it was kind of comfortable, a little nerve wracking. I was like, oh shit, I'm doing this for the people now. You know, it's like, it doesn't feel, I think just over time, I was just like, it's really about trusting yourself in the end of it. You know, like trusting your vision, trusting what you're doing, how you're executing things. And I felt during that time, I was really questioning myself a lot because I was just like, okay, I'm doing this, but like, where is it going? You know, like literally, where is it going? Because it just feels kind of like endless right now.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was just like, okay, what's kind of like the ending? Not the ending, but
where does this go?
Yeah, where does this go from here?
Yeah.
You know, from the starting point. It's kind of like being able to see the bigger picture. And I feel like I was just very limited as far as just what I was visualizing for myself.
Okay. When did festivals become a realization? Because that's definitely like accomplishing that in the first year. That's definitely a large, like from going from that moment of questioning, like, can I really do this, to later, maybe 6 to 8 months later, where you're doing any festival that, you know, that's popping in Washington, and we do throw some good festivals.
Yeah.
So like, what was that feeling like, just seeing yourself in that same time being like, I'm doing a 9-to-5, but I'm also like, I'm doing something I didn't even know I could do earlier this year.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like when I tell you, I was just like, okay, what's happening right now? You know, I think at the time I was like working in payroll and like, you know, I still did that up until last year. So yeah, I really was like, I don't know where this is going or how this is going to, I don't know, transform itself into, it's Sorry, I'm going blank. I don't know. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah, how it was gonna transform into like more progress and just forwarding it.
But that first like going into festivals and stuff like that was pretty crazy. But you know, I also grew up in AAU and like, you know, I played hoop a lot. My dad is a basketball coach and like, you know, trainer and like all these things. So it's like I grew up in that game time mode.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So you know
where it's like
I
I know how to turn it on. It kind of is like this like inner beast within me, I guess you can say. But that's just really from like preparing for, you know, games and shit like that for such a long time. But
no, that's fire.
Just get locked in, you know.
Just zone in and be like, I'm finna score 50. It don't matter.
Right, factual. Just going in.
No, I'm giving that a round of applause.
Please.
Should I start? I don't know when. So we
hit that shit, man.
So he had it. They're not gunshots because I really was against gunshots. They're bomb explosions, which are close enough, which sound the same.
Yeah.
There's no difference. But
Wait.
they're technically bomb explosions, but they're not like.
I want to unpack this on the Groovy Tapes, but we might have to switch up the bombs too, bro.
For what?
That's hella funny.
Oh shit! Wow. I mean, like
they're crazy. Crazy.
Right.
Crazy. No, but the hand claps are needed. You definitely that is well deserved.
I'm keeping the bombs.
I wanted to ask you how it's been with the surgence of women DJs in the game right now. I think y'all are taking over a field that's always been or should have been women inclusive over history, because there's been so many icons that developed the game in that area. And wanted to ask you like how that's been with your journey of your music.
Yeah, we don't see enough of women. As far as, and this is just how I feel about it, transparent moment. Like I really feel like women need to be showcased in the same way that like niggas put on for their niggas. I feel like, you know, niggas go hard for their boys and that's cool, but like you need to go just as hard, like not women being an afterthought. That's just me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I've kind of been able to, like I said, I'm very observant. There's a lot of situations and a lot of crazy stories as far as like DJing just hasn't been simple for me. It has been a journey. So yeah, I just feel like women just really need to be advocated for, you know, like I said, just not like I said, not an afterthought. So yeah, I feel like, but I have seen, and I do follow, and I am connected with a lot of bad bitches that are out here really like fucking shit up. Yeah. Like for real. Shout out to Damo, Spotify. Shout out to Red Corvette and C Watts from Houston. Like they're doing it, you know? So just a lot of women that I'm connected with that I really feel like are, I don't know, inspiring me, honestly. Yeah. Because like they're at a level that I'm also still trying to reach and get there, but I know that my journey is my own. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Hope that answered your question.
No, definitely. Thank you for sharing that with us. No, for sure. I think it's prevalent in the community that we, like, you're correct. Like, we need to basically ride for our homegirls or the women in our in the industry. Honestly, anyone like achieving their dreams or goals or chasing after or doing the same thing like, you know, men do that are held in the light that you know that can overcast the shadow on all the women here in the Pacific Northwest or in America, in the world.
Yeah, there's a lot of
that make pivotal historical moments in life. So that's just without a doubt. We got to put you on game, groovy crew. Like everyone out there watching this interview, like it's important that, you know, you hold your not only your people boss of the women in your life, in that standard.
Yeah, love that. Thank you.
What? You know what's going on there? The hell?
The round of applause ring off. I forget you don't have headphones, so you don't like.
He's like, what?
You don't even know. He don't know what sound effects I'm getting anymore.
Right.
It's always a mystery, and it's
right.
It's
Until
actually
you see it.
the best thing when you're just sitting here and you're like, oh, what's my sound man doing right?
When is he gonna play the applause for me? How has the EIQ journey been for you? Because I know you're more an overseer. You're there to make sure it grows and it gets into the right hands. And I would say you're more of the business side of the brand, but I'm not saying you're not also creative. But I know that when we spoke to Lex and Tanya, that you are the making sure shit gets on deadlines and making sure like it's not too many colors and it's cohesive. So how has that journey been for you?
I feel like, I don't know. I was all for it, right? Because I'm always going to support my baby. And she is top tier. I feel like she doesn't even get enough credit, but it's coming. But yeah, I feel like, you know, with EIQ, just kind of like the basis and, you know, Tanya was kind of creating EIQ, had like starting when we had gotten together, you know, I think in 2019. So yeah, just kind of seeing it grow in that way because, you know, she does a lot of research and a lot of like studying of like garments and quality, you know, of and ideas, just how she kind of like puts shit together. I think helps me be better at my job, honestly, because like she's really kind of like the reason why like all the designs come out the way that they do, or, you know, the color palettes and the texture, like that's all her, you know? So it's like really easy for me to just operate because that's kind of something I've always been doing. I worked in like management, you know, as a payroll manager, and, you know, I'm a talent manager now. So it's like, I'm kind of used to like facilitating, overseeing, and kind of like utilizing kind of my additional, you know, skills and transferring those over into this role. Working for Casey helped that. Like, so just a lot of like, you know, work experience that kind of helped me to
be able to push the business and
do
grow
the job.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Nah, you guys are doing well at it. How was the first event? Like, how was doing? Like, I know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Getting to that point and just having like, you don't know how, like, it's a pop-up, but it's also a party. And those two, you know, being mixed, you really get to see your brand's effect and see who you're able to bring in and like share the space with as well, but also just like who supports, like who's gonna come out and like who's gonna be there. So how was it to see in like real time and get to like feel the vibe?
Man, that shit was insane. Like it was insane. It was just like, it was just so much preparation. Like we were just like, do we got everything? Do we got this? You know, just making sure like we had all of the details. I think for me, you know, I was over kind of locking in the artists and stuff like that. That went really well, so I'm glad. You know, shout out to Lene Misfit, to Toya B, to Nia Joe from the Bay. Shout out to Jaden. Shout out to Liv. You know, like those are some like really a lot of powerhouses, and I wanted to curate it in that way where I was highlighting Black women. We were highlighting Black women. Yeah. You know, as far as just like artistry and just giving them the platform. I didn't really want to DJ because I was like kind of playing stage manager too. So that was hella stressful, not gonna lie. But you know, made it through. It all turned out well. We had all the support we needed. You know, shout out to y'all for pulling up and just like showing love and supporting us in the way that you did, just with like the photos and the visuals and stuff. And we just had like a lot of love there. Like, you know, family, like shout out to Wolves and Sheep Clothing. Shout out to, you know, that's my cousin's brand. Shout out to Stay Sane. That's my little brother. Shout out to Tavion.
The cupcakes were smack.
Shout out to Boogie Cakes. Boogie Got Cakes. Shout out to Seeds and Steez. You know, like there was just so many like elements of just a whole bunch of like, I don't know. And I feel like everyone needed to buy each of these people's things and like whatever they were selling, because like it was good stuff.
Yeah.
How we were gonna curate a pop-up shop in Gold Bar, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like that was really like all Anna. Shout out to Anna.
That was insane.
That was insane, but it was hella successful. It was hella dope. I love the vibe, like the balloons, all of it was cute. Like, you know, when we couldn't pick up the balloons, Anna was like, I got it, I'll go pick up the balloons.
Yeah.
So it's like there was just a lot of helping hands. Like we had some volunteers, people that were helping us man our table, and
that's amazing.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. So it was really good way to like have a first event for sure.
Yeah.
Very successful.
I almost broke a light in there, but it was good. Because they had like a Nova set up just in the middle, and just like after you're moving around taking photos.
Yeah.
And then everyone I was with was just taking shots. So I just kept getting pulled into both. So there was at one point I'm running to take a photo of Tavares getting his face tattoo. And there's like a giant Nova set up out like right by the door, where it's just like there's no real room in that section. So like I come out and I just like kick it, and I just see it shake, and I'm just like, well, fuck, I have one if it like drops, but I hope I don't have to give up mine to replace this one.
No, there was a lot going on. Like
I kept turning it on and off.
My heart was filled that night.
I'm so glad.
That was a great event.
Man, it was the basis of it. It was just like we curated with so much intention, you know. So I hope people felt that, you know, and received that in that space, because that's what that was for. Like, you know, I had people coming up like, I really needed this. I was like, that's so good. Like, I'm so glad, you know, like, because sometimes those spaces are far and few between in Seattle. So
very true.
Yeah,
I know Daz does a great job of curating those spaces as well. Just like having the R&B events and the Watermelon Sundays just be like vibes, and like having them in the middle of the day as well, just like help add to the like the venues and the spaces that we're allowed to vibe in and just kick it, and just having it mostly be black, even though it's not the goal, but it's the goal. Right.
You're like, let's be real, you know. Yeah.
So it was definitely a fun night with the homies, just like kicking it. It felt like a really dope kick it day, and I was working, so that's what I know. It's a fun event when I'm just like, I'm allowed to do my job, but I don't have any pressure that I'm doing it bad, because like everyone is enjoying themselves or here for a reason to enjoy themselves. So it makes the photos easier, and it just makes the job a lot smoother.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to OHB Tattoos, tatted your face. Shout out to B. I was like, I was forgetting something.
Are you ever gonna release the bangs and let the people see?
That's crazy. That's a crazy Groovy Tapes question. You want me to let them know?
Just speaking to the people. I'm the people.
Yeah, I'm trying to actually go Caesar on the top. I'm about to let it all go and just grow out the back and look like a lion.
Period.
Like Mufasa.
Dye the tips. No.
I just played the gunshot. If you were curious,
like, what's the sound?
If you were curious, that's
no. Thank you for sharing that with us, for real, because those safe spaces are needed. I don't know about, I know from my experience, just growing up and hearing about those kind of safe spaces through my family and just the community in general. It's fun. It's awesome to get to experience those kind of things, especially within the town, you know.
More coming soon.
Yes.
Fire. See the hand clamps in the right corner of my eye. Oh.
Do you have them labeled?
No, I
You just be guessing sometimes.
I've done. There's a pot. I forget who it was that I had on, that we had on, but like I was like, I forget what these do, so I'm just gonna press them all so you can hear them all. But no, they come like the original. There was like an original board, and those were labeled. And this one, the yellow one's always been applause. I think we've changed all the other ones on the board. There's a Groovy Power Hour. I love that. That's one of my favorites because that one's like one of the most random where I'm just like, I played the beat for Tavares. I was like, what are you gonna say over this? He was just, I don't know. And then he was like, oh, it's the Groovy Power Hour. I was like, all right, do it again though. The vocals got a match. So like, we have one for. You want to get into our sponsor?
Sure.
So there's one that's just like.
I love that.
Hey y'all. We're over here smoking the finest, Tranquil Forest.
I want to just add, we just utilize the soundboard. There some of my favorite pods have sounds that go along with it, and just like things that like make it more into a show and make it more into like okay, this happens then, or these are a cause and effect. Just so there's like. There will always be a new guest. There will always be a new topic. But you can always expect a hand clap. You can always expect now the bombs. I'm keeping the bombs. I'm just going to keep repeating that. You know, the intro, like we do, there's 2 intros technically because the one that plays before and then this one. So just like, you know, like we're like Full House. Full House intros will always be the same. You know, like they'll never not be where you, oh, fuck. I only know the hook. I can't even say it. I was about to get into it, but I was like, I really only know the hook. That's terrible. You know, shout out. R.I.P. Bob Saget.
Have you ever, or let me ask you in this way. Do you have a favorite set of yours? Was there a moment in time where you just were in your like DJ zone and you're like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be? And
man, when I DJ a Supernova, bro, I be going off.
Oh my gosh,
it's so much fun because like that
I
should
love
be
Supernova.
like because that should be at like I don't know, like 1 a.m, and then I'm like DJing till like 3 or 4. I'm like, what is going on? So like just to like see people there still rocking with you, like people don't want to leave. Like, oh, you're stopped. You know, you're leaving already.
You have to stop.
Yeah, man, because I just can like play anything, but like I don't know, I trust myself like a lot. Because especially when I'm DJing, but like right before I'll be talking to Tanya in the car, like, I don't really know what to play tonight. And then like all of a sudden she'll be like, what the fuck, you just killed it. So it's hella cool. Probably say a lot of my sets probably a Supernova. Trying to think of any other sets off the top of my head. Technically all of them have been good. But yeah, I'd probably say like my favorite ones as of late. I'm actually doing next week on the 9th, I think. Supernova they're launching like a hip hop R&B night or whatever. So I'll be DJing there for the whole time. Yeah, that shit's insane. So yeah, it'll just be me, but yeah, I'm really gonna go off.
Be seeing tea.
Yeah, I'm about to go off.
Do you Sorry,
no,
go crazy. Go crazy. Let the people know.
Let the people know. R&B night, Supernova.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It just gives me an opportunity to kind of like, because I don't really play like a whole bunch of, I don't know, like a whole bunch of ass shaking shit. I don't really play that as Supernova. You know, time and place for everything. Yeah. Like I could play that yesterday as Zodiac, but like, you know, you kind of just like read the room.
Feel the vibe.
Feel the vibe. Yeah. And then also just like, yeah, I'm just happy like they're having me back, but also like on the opening night of like something new that they're launching. So I'm excited about that. A little nervous because like, you know, they usually play, from my knowledge, like disco and you know, stuff like that. So like for me to bring little raunchiness to the space is gonna be interesting.
People forget disco used to be raunchy. They just used to do it differently. You know, there's still that element to the essence of music that have a certain I would say flirtation to it that you can always exploit in every genre and every like time period. So there you can give that same feel, you know, of disco, and you know the samples are the same. So people will expect that vibe.
Yeah, but like me and they're playing Larry June, like, you know, it's just like, you know, you won't really hear that, you know, playing TBG. Like people aren't really gonna like hear that shit in that space on a normal basis, but trust me, I'm gonna bring it there, you know? So yeah.
That's fire. Yeah. Oh damn. It was at the end of it. That's why you don't pause the clap. You just let them ring out and just restart them.
Oh yeah.
Because if it played at the end, it was like a 2-second. It wasn't as satisfying as I needed it to be. What are some goals in this that you're still haven't reached, or you're obtaining and you're about to like grow past?
Man, yeah, I feel like it's like level up time. Like I said, I'm feeling like beast mode fourth quarter type energy right now. Just with the alignment, things that are happening. I'll eventually, probably end of the summer, take a break from DJing. And not because I don't enjoy it or I don't love it, but I'm really stepping back to do a full rebrand. That's when, you know, it really gets crazy. But also, like, I'm a music artist. Like, I'm working on my music outside of this, I was singing, and working on production. So, yeah, just a lot of different things that I am kind of stepping into. Yeah. Things that I've already been doing for a long time, but I think it's different when you kind of step into the fullness of all of your gifts. Yeah. Not just kind of one, you know, that you might favor. But
it's like if you can draw really dope and you just like, I can also like score, and you're just like, but you rely on drawing to just like elevate it. It's really dope to get into that other bags of what you're passionate about and grow them as well as while you're growing what you already excel at and just like are passionate about. Yeah. I think that is dope.
Yeah, it's super super exciting. I think I've had like a lot of, I mean, I guess I probably shouldn't say this on podcast, but because I was like, oh, I'm going to wait until, you know, whatever. But like, you know, I get the opportunity this year to like travel internationally. That's hella cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So like, just a lot of like I said, just good things that are happening. Yeah. Things that I might not speak about, or, you know, I don't feel like I really need to be waving my hands and, you know, jumping up and down, trying to get attention for the things that I'm doing. I'm just kind of just doing them. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of fulfillment there. So
that's amazing. That's a real achievement, just being outside of like your country and like being able to just like show other people around the world what you do and what you've been accepted in your own circle, and just now who like I think for me to a DJ being able to spin outside of the country and be like, that allows you to really pull more of your music bag into it, because like I feel like here there's pockets that are different, but you pull from a certain bag depending on where you are. I feel like there it's like
there's a genre blend.
Yeah, and that you can really play with and really like experiment a lot of your like growth and your music capability, because like I feel like a lot of island music is not as appreciated on the West Coast as it is on the East Coast. But like I feel like most other countries like are so hip to like Afro beats and like soca music and just things of that nature, where it's just like it's very easy to hop back and forth with like a Caribbean vibe to something with just straight horns, but it all makes sense as long as I can dance to it. You know, so that's really amazing that you get to show the international waters what you can do.
Yeah, I'm gonna go off, so I hope everybody's prepared for that. Yeah, I feel like I'm very quiet. I don't really say much. I'm not, you know, but I do a lot. Yeah. You know, I'm doing a lot. There's a lot coming. So I'm really excited for those opportunities, and you know, there's gonna be a point where I talk my shit, but right now I'm just gonna really just work in silence and continue to grind it out. But you know, I don't think it should be a problem when women talk their shit after they've really worked hard, you know, because like niggas talk their shit all day, be like, oh, I'm doing this and blah blah. So it's just like, you know, I should also be able to, you know, show up in those spaces and
talk as much shit as you want.
Yeah, because I mean, and not in like a cocky way or not in a, you know, that's not even how I come off ever. You know, I'm very
respectfully.
I'm
what?
Very professional, you know, and you know that just comes from like my corporate background. But I operate like that in how I work and who I'm working with, and you know, all of that. So
I feel like there's like I feel like that is just noting to people that you have arrived. I feel like there's a certain degree of like arrogance that every person needs to have when in a room that you may not get demanded respect, or you may not know, like you may not get it off rip. Like there's a certain level of like, nah, I deserve to be here, that should always be carried into like anything you do, just because it's like people will always try to like downgrade where you are, even if you're in the room. So it's always like a cool, like everyone should have a chip on their shoulder. Everyone should feel like they're, you know, this needs to be the next basket. This needs to, like, I can crack at any point because I'll work my ass to get there. Like, as long as you have that mindset, there's no door that'll be closed to you. You'll always be able to work, you know, into any room.
If you think about Kobe, LeBron, I don't know, D Wade, like they operate with a level of like being humble, but they know the beast within. So it's just like, okay, cool. I know exactly. It's about that time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I said, like when I kind of like reemerge with the rebranding and all that stuff, I really feel like shit's going to go up from there, you know, because like I'm not thinking local. I'm thinking very global. Yeah. You know, I'm thinking very international. And I think sometimes people can get a little bit stuck in thinking very local. Like, cool, yeah, I'm looking for support from my city, but sometimes you don't get that from your city. I feel like, you know, I used to do a lot of DJ gigs and a lot of everything. Yeah. But now it's like I'm very selective about kind of, to some degree, what I'm a part of and who I'm collaborating with, because, and not with like any ill intent or, you know, I don't fuck with you, but it's just like, okay, is this an alignment type of thing? You know what I'm saying? Does this align with me, my rebrand, what I'm doing, where I'm going? Yeah. But yeah, you know, all due respect to everyone, but I really feel like, you know, people in the city, especially like as music artists, like really need to start thinking outside of their city. Yeah. You know, when they're creating or curating their sounds, because you can get stuck. Yeah. That's just real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not trying to shit on anybody's dreams or anything like that, but you can get really stuck if you don't evolve yourself, you know, outside, listening to different things, sampling different things. Like, it's very important to deep dive, you know, deeper than just like a surface level. So that's just me.
No, I definitely fuck with that. It'll always help to think outside of yourself and outside of the city. We operate very much on that level of just like, how does this get to a level of adding to the city? Because it's at a point where it feeds the soul, but I want to be able to like get that artist, whoever sits in the chair, to that level of just like it works. It like being on, like, not only are we historians, but it'll help you show someone, be like, oh shit, I was on this, and it'll grow it to that next piece of thing. So.
And I love that. I love podcasts so much for that, because I think it's very important to document beginning stages or, you know, more mid-level, entry-level stages of people's career. Later, maybe interview them and there's something else. You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, historians for sure.
I love being people's first interviews. It's one of those gems of like finding people who like do things in their own regards and like haven't may have small bit of those relationships, or just like that door hasn't been open to them, but you can tell that they're so keen on the vision and so keen on what it'll be, and just being able to just like have them tell their first story so that their second story is just so much like, it may not be with us. We may get the recap, you know, we may get the like, after they do the world tour, we like come sit back down, but it's always dope to be able to be like, you got to share those first like inner thoughts and that like projection of where you see yourself like here. And I love that. Like, when we sat down with Marvin last year, he was just like, these are my goals for Friendly Fire, and these are the things that like I will achieve and I will manifest. And like did his first pop-up, cracked it, did a second pop-up, cracked it, you know, just did 1 million. There's just certain things that he's just like hungry manifesting. And like we got to sit and talk to him about before he really knew what he was manifesting. He just knew that was like, that's the goal. Right. That's the inevitable. So like, it's really dope to just get that, and to get like those bigger stories from the homies who've been doing it for years, and do it on a high level, and just be able to shed light on like, you can project it. Like you can be from this state and grow outside of it, and still show people like those steps and those inner mindsets, and like, I was here and now I'm way up here, but like I showed you on a platform where you can view it like and feel it in a real way. So it's really dope to be in that space and provide that to the people.
Yeah. And like you said, manifestation is huge. What you speak over yourself is real. Like, don't speak ill over yourself in any capacity. Like, only speak life over every single thing that you're accomplishing or moving towards, because you don't realize, like, I mean, in all, you know, honesty, like your words are kind of like spells, you know what I'm saying? Where like you're really, you know, and you have the ability to like speak that shit over other people too. Yeah. You know, so I think, you know, it's really important to, you know, continue to protect yourself, continue to, you know, manifest and know that abundance is always in proximity to you. Yeah. So, yeah.
I like the way you break things down.
Was it the gunshots? No, just
no, that was the hand clap. That was the hand clap for sure. I should have. If I wasn't talking while I would have give myself the explosions. But I don't know. I just it's dope. It's dope to provide both. It's dope to have access to the big homies and etc. But also like the homies who are in that space of figuring out and knowing their growth is inevitable. Like knowing that it's just like, I'm putting in the work, like everything will work out. If you're doing the work and it's not shitty, everything always works out. There's no way it doesn't. It just takes that one that one room it's always in it. I always find it in the story. It's always the gig or the thing that you don't want to do. It's always like, fuck, I'm tired today. Like I gotta go do this, and like that's the hit, or that's the video that is just like circulates this like millions and millions of views, or just that's the room that like someone remembers you in because you were tired but you showed off, and you're just like, all right, I'm gonna bring him on tour. Like I liked his energy in there, even though he was like kind of sluggish, but he was like. Yeah. He kind of turned it on. Yeah, so it's song like,
selection was fire.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just like now I'm doing all these things. So I love that key of just being able to like have people manifest their life and document it, and have a home where you can see people that you grew up with, that grew up in the same neighborhoods as you, just project and elevate their lives. So I think that's really cool.
It's that consistency and follow through, you know, because like, okay, consistency and diligency up until you get that opportunity, and then the follow through, you're going to fumble it when you get that opportunity, you know? So, I think it's just really important to like continue to be consistent, continue to stay on your path and stay in your lane. You know, I think a lot of us, you know, can look around and be like, oh, what are they doing? What are they doing? You know, I do that all the time, but I have to reel myself the fuck back in and be like, okay, you know, but this is what you're doing right now.
Exactly.
You know, so it's just really like honing into yourself solely. Yeah.
Very true. What's up with you?
I got ass cheeks on my white tee. All these hoes keep grinding on me. Coming in the club every night of the week. Keep a nigga popping them crispy white tees. I got ass cheeks on my white tee. All these hoes keep grinding on me. Coming in the club every night of the week. Keep a nigga popping them crispy white tees. La la la, la la la, la la la.
I wanted to ask you, is there any correct way to approach you if there's an up and coming artist wanting to get their music spun, or is there any way that, or what stands out to you when an artist comes at you trying to show them their music?
I don't know. I've had some really like awkward approaches, like listen to my music, you know, and then I've had the people who be like, it'd be really nice, you know, if like you could listen to it if you can, you know, type stuff. I have to tell this story because there's this one white guy, I don't know who, this one white dude who clearly doesn't do research about the playlist, right? Because if you did, like, you'd know that it was specifically only Black artists, right? Unless there's like maybe a feature or like, you know, it's production or something like that. So he sent me a DM and I was like, okay, cool. He's like, you know, I've lived here my whole life. Like, you know, listen to my stuff. And I was like, okay, like, bro, you're white. Like, first of all, this is a playlist for Black artists, you know? And it's like, while I do appreciate it, do some research about the playlist that you're asking to be a part of. I think that's always key. But anyways, he sent me like, then he messaged me again, sends me $10 in like the Venmo or whatever. I don't even know how the fuck he found my Venmo, first of all. I mean, obviously it's just Kween Kaysh, so it's not really hard, but still it's like you were really reaching, you know? I was like, $10, bro. Like, you sent me $10. He was like, I hope this gets your attention. I was like, nah, bro, that's not it. So that's not a way to do it, but
$10 is supposed to grease the wheel.
That was recently too. I was like last week. I was like, what the hell is happening here? But I'd probably say like the best way to get it to me, if you know me, hit me up, you know, like send me your Spotify link or whatever. Yeah, please don't expect me to like do the work to search you. I mean, I will, you know what I'm saying? But like, just be courteous enough to just like send me the link so I could just click on it and kind of like go through your stuff. And every sound isn't appropriate for the playlist. Like, I think people think like, oh, I put out music and like feel butthurt if like their song's not on there or whatever. But like maybe your song will be on there because I have it loaded and ready to go for the next week. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, yeah, and they're, you know, updated weekly or whatever, or when they can be updated. But yeah, I just feel like, you know, the best way I think for me is like, I'm going to have kind of a system and a way to do it because, yeah, because I'll send, you know, people can email it to me. That's cool. If they have a project coming out, like, let me know. But a lot of the times, like, I'm very much tapped in, you know, and if I do see a new artist, like, I immediately go to their stuff.
And
you
research
know?
And do it.
Yeah, it's like, I think people are just think I'm not listening, but I really am. So I might not get to every artist's playlist every artist's profile or project, but I try to see everyone that I can. Especially, you know, it's only 50 tracks. I got 50 tracks across the Pacific Northwest. Kind of hard, you know, because like I can't just have one element of music. I have to have all these different R&B elements, or maybe there's some house elements, and like I have to just keep searching. So like sometimes I'd be updating my stuff last minute, but and I'll spend hours going through music, you know. So it's like this like really deep diving that I do, and it has to be cohesive. Like sometimes, you know, the way that it's curated, you know, there might be like only room for like one decent song that can like, you know, has that intro or transition, because I try to curate my playlist so that people can listen to it in full and not skip it. I didn't want it like jumping around and a whole bunch. I wanted to have like this like really flowy element as though I'm curating it for you literally from my hands, you know? So yeah, but yeah, definitely don't reach out, send me a Venmo and DM me twice, especially if you're a white man, because yeah, no offense, like it's not the playlist for you. It's not that you don't have a playlist. Like, I mean, shout out to Shayon, like, you know, that's my homie, also white, super filthy. I can't put him on the playlist. He has dope music, really good music. I can't put him on the playlist, but what I did do is put him on my, you know, I curated a playlist for Seattle NFT Museum, put it on that playlist, you know? So it's like, there's a time and place for everything, but it's not like I don't have, I'm literally like building this whole playlist of like all this art, you know, all the, you know, music of artists. And I go through everybody's stuff to see if they have any like new releases. Like I follow people on their profiles on Spotify, so it's like I'm always knowing when you have a new release and you have a new drop, you know. Shout out to J-Wob, you just dropped Red Water, I think it's called. So it's like I try to keep a lookout for like every single person that's doing stuff, and but it's hard. It's like, damn, I'd really have to like be tapped in all the damn time to like
to know what's
really
going
know,
on.
But I try to cover all of it.
The $10 is wild for the playlist. If you,
man, I was like $10, bro, to get my attention.
If you want to get up in the queue of the Groovy Tapes,
Cash App
Groovy Tapes. $10 and we'll add you
that interview. We'll add you more than $10 though.
Right.
We'll add you to the queue of options.
Here's some unsolicited advice for people trying to approach our tastemakers out here. Stand firm in what you believe in. I don't know. I don't want to say point blank make great music, but hey,
make great
love the music that you make, but also understand that people are curating the bigger picture, I would say. You know, find a playlist that is something of your own or something that interests you or that you like, and attack it like that. It's very important that we understand the spaces that we hold true to ourselves, or, you know, that, you know, you're an up and coming artist and you want to be a part of something, but you have to understand what you're getting yourself into. And I feel like with a lot of today's game, there's people who are jumping into it and don't understand the love of music behind it all, and that we are truly just like the most bona fide music nerds, and we love it so much that, you know, you have to find that love yourself before you try and collaborate on other people's dime. You know, it's a long game.
Yeah, and I listen to the quality of the music too with a keen ear. I don't, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, while I might like your music, like, your bass is too loud, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're putting this out and your bass is super knocking, like unnecessarily. There's no balance, you know? So it's like, I can hear the levels in the music that might make it not as quality for the playlist. Like, it's an editorial playlist, bro, for Spotify. This is not like a game. You know, I don't even think people really realize that they're on an editorial playlist. Yeah. That's a big deal. And to be honest, I don't think a lot of artists, unless they're big, you know what I'm saying, or like really kind of like making their own noise, would see the light of day of an editorial playlist. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's just real. If it didn't exist, if the platform didn't exist at all, you know, and that's unfortunate. But like Seattle needs literally someone to go, I have all these people, like, you know, I'm sitting here, sitting in rooms, important rooms, you know, and I have knowledge of these artists that are in my city or that are my homies that are making good music. I'm very aware, you know, as observant and to myself as I am, I'm very much so aware of each and every person's, almost each and every person's music. And sometimes I discover new artists that I absolutely love, and I love that. You know, sometimes people just started their artistry but are making quality music. I will put you on the playlist. You know what I'm saying? Like, how good is that to feel to it's your first single, your second single, or whatever, or a song off your first project, and you're on an editorial playlist. Yeah. That's a good ass feeling, you know? So it's all about elevation. Like, yes, while I'm doing this on the back end, and I'm working on giving myself more credit, because I'm like, no, it's about the artist, and like I'm just on the back end curating, but it's like I am searching for these artists. I am curating it in a way that is tasteful. Yeah. And I think it's all about that. But also, like, I want it to be like the raunchiness of, you know, Seattle, of Tacoma, of Federal Way, like kind of across the board. Even Portland, like I'm still discovering new artists out there. I don't live in Portland, but like, or Oregon. But I have to like continue to deep dive. And yeah, it's kind of like this endless pool. And that's usually how it is with music. It's just like endless portals.
There'll always be somebody else cooking up a classic. Yeah.
So it was, even with this like playlist that I just curated, you know, like Sango's doing stuff with, you know, has a remix out with Pink Panthers. Like, that's a huge deal, you know? So it's like, yeah, I'm putting that shit on the playlist, you know? So it's filthy to be able to kind of like advocate and put artists on that are really making quality music. Talea, you know, like these are artists that are up and coming that you should not sleep on, you know? And so I want my playlist to be like that. Like, these are who you should be looking out for. Yeah. And you don't know who's watching. Like, I have almost 1,000 likes on my playlist. I just started that playlist last summer. You know what I'm saying? So you have, you know, 900, almost 1,000 people that are listening to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's important. And I think, you know, artists really like need to give DJs more credit for having the power to elevate their music. I think they forget that. Like, DJs were the ones who were spinning the hottest shit, you know? So I feel like my prior sets, like a few years ago, I feel like I was kind of incorporating some local music, but now it's like I literally have, you know, like it's my goal. You know, I feel like that's hella dope to be in a space and hear some of your favorite artists that are from here. You know, and I think sometimes like we take those artists for granted because, you know, we have proximity to them in some way just by being from the same city. But yeah, these artists should be highlighted. Very much so. And really, you know, elevated on this platform. So that's my goal with this whole Spotify thing. And, you know, I hope it's doing some justice. My prayer is that, you know, it continues to grow from here, that I get other opportunities from here to bring those artists into spaces, because I also know who's ready. I think knowing who's performance ready is very important. Like, people need to practice to perform. I think that art is lost. There's a lot of artist development that is like there's a disconnect with current, because it's like, it's very like fast paced, fast fashion type, you know.
Nothing's really lasting.
Yeah, nothing's really lasting. So like really thinking about the longevity of your artistry, when you're curating your visuals, like all of that stuff is very important, you know, because that's what people are looking at. You just never know who's watching. So
very true.
Yeah.
All right. What are you looking at me for?
Get on your noggin, boy. First of all, I need to hear a hand clap. I guess. Second of all, Kaysh, do you have any love you wanna end off today's episode with people? You know, special shout outs for anybody that was along the journey, or anything you want to leave off any of your followers with?
No, I really felt like I kind of like shouted out everybody kind of throughout the podcast that was really a part of, you know, my journey. A lot more people definitely to mention, but God, if I went through the whole list, that'd be insane. I think just for the artists out there, like, continue to believe in yourself. I think knowing that abundance is already yours is very important in whatever you do. Even when it doesn't feel like, you know, anything's moving or going, just know that things are operating in your favor on the other end. So, I hope to just continue to encourage people, and that's all I got.
KWJT, you've been grooving with the South. We got Kaysh, Corey, Solana. Koi.